Sophomore, Molly Horner O'Malley. Senior, Holly Ryan. Sophomore, Drew Hendershot. Sophomore, Brittany Chappell. Junior, Tori Hewen. Junior, Haley Westney. Senior, Alina Lagowski. Junior, Lindsay Lemke. Junior, Anna Gamello. Freshman, Ella Douglas. Senior, Kira Frederick. And senior, Nicola Deans. The Spartans are coached by assistant coaches Mike Rowe and Nicole Curler. And the head coach for the Spartans, Kathy Klagas.
I won't just survive. Oh, you will see me thrive. Can write my story. Oh, you have so little faith. Don't doubt it, don't doubt it. Victory is in my veins. I know it, and I will not negotiate. I'll fight it, I will transform.
touch period is over. Judges, please call your first competitor. First on vault for the Hawkeyes, Misty J. Carlson. On bars for Michigan State, Kira Frederick. On vault for the Hawkeyes, Maria Ortiz.
That was Maria Ortiz. Tough to follow a competitor falling down, but hopefully she has her energy up and she's ready to go. Waiting for the judges to finish scoring Misty J. Carlson's. Now a fall can be up to or even at least 5/10 of a deduction, so that's half a point for falling. One score will be dropped from each event so that the team score can be made up of 5 gymnasts. Ortiz staying loose, waiting for the judges' signal to go. Vault is tough. You really just have one shot to prove yourself, and you know it's something you practice all season just to have one shot, one moment, so you know they really work on their runs, how they approach the springboard, the block off the board. It's very important. It ends up being about a 30-second run, so each detail matters, sticking the landing, staying tight in the air. I believe Drew Hendershot is on the bars for Michigan State. Didn't quite reach that handstand before her giant, but a full pirouetting giant to a double layout, stuck landing. Michigan seems very excited about that. Still waiting for Maria Ortiz on the vault for Iowa here. Here she goes. Great vault. She had a hop on the landing, just a little hop backwards. The judges will decide how many attempts to take on that, but she really had great form off the board. She got a nice air. You can see how her shoulders just extended, and so she was able to get air. What a beautiful vault. And she's definitely one of your taller gymnasts, so you can see the powerhouse that she really comes from. Gives her enough power to twist around and stick the landing. On bars for Michigan State is now Molly Horner-O'Malley. Bars has looked strong so far for Michigan State. You know, they really have a talented group of girls here for competing for them for all around. The This is their first game
On
on the
vault
road.
for the
so their
Hawkeyes, Molly
first
Drenth.
meet not in Michigan State to see what they can bring to the table. Molly Drenth is up to vault for Iowa now. Stuck landing. That was absolutely a beautiful vault.
On
She's
bars for
clearly
the
thrilled
Spartans,
about that.
Molly Horner
Drenth is an
O'Malley.
amazing athlete. She'll be competing all around for Iowa this year. So you can see Misty Jade Carlson's vault got an 8.6, unfortunately, with that fall. And Kira Frederick leading off the bars had a 9.725, which is a very high score. So the team scores are just starting to add up. Up for MSU is Molly Horner O'Malley. Great release move into almost a handstand. Release move to the low bar, Pax Salto. Really important to hit those handstands in these giants. That was a good one. She hit it. Another pirouette. Double back tuck. Just a little step on the landing. So they really are looking solid on bars. Great effort put forth. Molly Drenth's, Maria Ortiz's vault score came back 9.725, which is a great score for them. Rose Pierkowski is on for the vault now. Stuck landing. She was straight as a board all the way through. You could just see how tight her legs were together. It's a really exciting stuck landing for Iowa. You want as many of those for vault as you can get. See on the replay here, her run is extremely powerful. She blocks off the board and gets so much height and just keeps her hands down as straight as a board. Stuck the landing, absolutely beautiful vaults. Up now for bars is Nicola Deans from Michigan State.
Next on bars for Michigan State, Nicola Deans.
So we have Molly Drenth stuck the landing and Rose Pierkowski. Those are two sticks for Iowa vault, which is very exciting. Nicola Dean is an academic all-Big Ten for Michigan State. She's a really valuable asset to their team. She was injured in 2014. Actually, last year in 2016, her first game back from her injury was the Iowa meet. It's been a year since then. Great handstand on the high bar. Release move was perfect. Just needs to get enough momentum to get down to the low bar and right back up. Giants is where they really look for the handstand. She didn't quite make that one there. A full twisting back tuck. Slight step on the landing, but again, a really solid bar routine. Another solid bar routine. Molly Drenth's vault got a 9.85, which was really exciting for her. She has a 9.95 as her team best for vault, so that's a great score for her. Up next is Melissa Zarowski. Another beautiful vault for Iowa. Just looks really solid. You know, they clearly have been blocking off the board really well. It's important to get that shoulder block off the board, otherwise you'll get no height for your vaults. You have to get your feet underneath you. So that, again, a really good vault. She's running hard towards the floor. It's a round off back handspring on. Full twist. Just a tiny little hop at the end, but I'm sure that's going to get a really solid score. which is really just what I was looking for. Up next on the bars for Michigan State is Lindsay Lemke.
Next on bars for the Spartans, Lindsay Lemke.
Beautiful handstand right off the bat. Not one of the more common release moves you see, but beautiful release move down to the low bar. You can see she lands it in a perfect handstand, which is what the judges are looking for. Pirouetting giant, and a double back tuck, and she sticks the landing. That was a beautiful routine for Lindsay Lemke.
On vault for the Hawkeyes, Charlotte Sullivan.
Charlotte Sullivan up for the Hawkeyes now, and one of our freshmen. The girls call her either Kiwi or Sully because of her New Zealand background. Good vault from Charlotte. She definitely had power. I think she might have even over-rotated a little bit just with the extra hop on the landing. And the hop could really take as many deductions from, you know, 0.3 to 0.03 to 0.05. It's really hard to say. Nicola Dean's bar score was released. It's 9.775, which is a great score. Haley Westney's on the bars right now, and she just looks so flexible. Her toes are pointed and locked together, and she has a really good routine going on right now. She's little and has a lot of power. Beautiful handstand on the top bar there. Interesting dismount. Beautiful stuck landing.
Next up with an exhibition routine for the Hawkeyes.
I'm still waiting for
Reminder the exhibition
Rose
score does not count
score.
towards the event.
She stuck the landing. Here it is, 9.85. That's a great score for her. Just waiting for Charlotte Sullivan's before we have the total Iowa vault score. Lainey Snyder will be an exhibition going for Iowa on the vault right now. And a beautiful vault, a round off back handspring onto the vault. Nice stuck landing. She just has a lot of power. She's tall.
That concludes our first rotation. Teams will have 2 minutes to rotate to their next event.
Once she does the vault, it looks absolutely beautiful. At the height she gets off the board. Pike down a little bit, but almost a stuck landing. It looked really nice.
Michigan State will be heading to the vault, and I will be on bars. Once the score is up,
That
we'll
will be
begin the
the
2
end
minutes.
of that first rotation. Just waiting for a few more scores from Michigan State and also Charlotte Sullivan's score on bars. We'll be able to see how the teams are facing off.
2-minute rotation will start now. Fan. On vault for Michigan State, Brittany Chappell.
Brittany Chappell a little under-rotated on her vault.
On bars for the Hawkeyes, Charlotte Sullivan.
There, maybe not quite enough power, but good vault nonetheless. Bent knees on that. She can expect a few deductions just for the little bit of lack of tightness there, but powerful run, powerful tumbling. Lexi Mira's up for bars for University of Iowa. She was injured in 2014 and she actually came back just using bars, and now she's competing all around, so she's significantly better from her injury. It's easier for some gymnasts to do bars, especially if there's only a lower body injury, legs, ankles. All they really have to focus on are their dismounts. So bars are a little bit easier. Swinging and things like that aren't as difficult on your knees or ankles. Great handstands in her giants. Beautiful release move. Pack salto to the low bar. Handstands and extensions certainly look good. She's tight, toes are pointed, legs are together. Giants winding up for her dismount. It's a full twisting, almost stuck landing. Really a great routine for Lexi Mora.
On vault for the Spartans, Anna Gamello.
Douglas got a 9.65, so the bent legs certainly had some deductions there, but Anna Gamello is up for Michigan State now. Another solid vault. If you can see her hands weren't completely centered. They were a little bit more towards the left of the horse, which is what the vault is called. And so it might not have given her as solid of a block as she would have liked. She might have had to pike down a little bit just to overcompensate, but a really solid vault. Again, you can just ask for solid vaults, landing on your feet. Angel Metcalf is up for Iowa. In 2016, she competed in 13 all-around meets, so she is really an all-around star for the Iowa Gym Hawks. Warm-up, she looked really solid on every event. She's a really focused gymnast. She's also a senior, so it'll be tough to lose her.
On bars for the Hawkeyes, Angel Metcalf.
Choked up and I think of old stuff. Move on, put my goons on, they kidnap newborns. In the streets, my face a coupon, too warm. All these
sometimes take a few minutes for the judges to deliberate over their last routine they saw, which is sometimes what delays the meet. Didn't quite reach handstand on her first handstand there. Here's her release move, hiked. Looks really good, nice and tight. Here's her release move to the low bar. Nice handstand extension there, great giants. Double layout to a stuck landing. That was really exciting for Angel Metcalf. She's thrilled with that response. Hopefully that'll get a really solid bar score for them. Haven't seen anything above 9.75. That was from Charlotte Sullivan, so maybe this will be the routine. Nicola Deans just did her vault for MSU. Again, looked like a very solid vault. They haven't scored higher than 9.725. That's what Anna Gamello just got for them. Up now on the bars is Melissa Zarowski. Melissa Zarowski's from Darien, Illinois. She's a junior. She She was in all 14 meets of 2016, so she's a good athlete, mostly on bars and floor, her 2 events, but her season best on bars was 9.875, so we have not seen that yet.
On bars for the Hawkeyes, Melissa
Possible Angel
Zurowski.
Metcalf just got it, but that would be her personal best to beat. Great handstand, toes pointed. You can just see how tight her body is. Release move to the low bar. She landed in a perfect handstand, which is really what the judges are looking for. Back to the high bar, another great handstand. This is a really beautiful routine. Pirouetting on top of the bar. Double tuck with a stuck landing. That was a great, great, great routine from
On vault for the Spartans,
Zurowski.
Lindsay Lemke.
Nicola Deans on the Michigan State team scored a 9.825 on her vault, which is a great score. Lindsay Lemke is up for her vault now. Great form, nice pointed legs, and a solid landing. You know, and like I said, that's really just the best that you want to hope for your Michigan State. You all want consistency, landing on your feet, tight bodies, things that'll get you 9.5 and above, which is what they have achieved so far. Brittany Chappell got a 9.475. Molly Drenth is up on the bars now. She is really a senior powerhouse for Iowa. They'll be set to lose her next year, but she's the 4th gymnast to get All-American
bars
honors,
for the
which is an
Hawkeyes,
exciting
Molly Drenth.
honor for her. She holds the season's individual best on vault, beam, and all-around. So she's really an incredible athlete. Hopefully her bars are good for her today. Looking for those handstands. Beautiful giants. You can just tell she's very powerful. Holds on and goes right to the low bar. That looks like a very difficult release move. She handled it very well. And very close to handstand. Looking at her release move is a double layout. Slight hop forward, but it was a great routine. So after her score comes in, we'll be able to see the standings for the team score. Michigan State versus Iowa here in Carver Hawkeye Arena. We'll be right back. I apologize, we have one more exhibition athlete for Iowa on the bars, Lainey Snyder.
Next up for the Hawkeyes with an exhibition routine on the bars, Lainey Snyder.
She's also exhibition on the vault. She's a tall gymnast. You can tell she swings nice and broadly. Again, the release move right from the high bar to the low bar. Nice handstands, good angles. She does a forward double front, sticks the landing. What a great exhibition routine. Her team's very excited about that. Iowa will now be going to the beam while Michigan State is on floor. after all the scores are in. The team score now stands Iowa in the lead, 97.725. MSU is 97.3. I'll meet you back here at Carver Hawkeye Arena with MSU on the floor, and Iowa will be on the beam.
That concludes the second rotation. Teams will have 2 minutes to rotate to their next event. On beam for the Hawkeyes, Savannah Borman.
We'll be starting with senior Savannah Borman on beam. The athletes do use chalk on beam as well as bars, vault. I think they really use a little bit of chalk in every event. It just helps them stick their landings a little better and actually makes things like full turns and their hands a little bit even more slippery. Probably going to see her leap pass coming up here. So you can see that she had a slight bobble in between her connection, where the judge could question if that connection was actually completed all the way through. She also did a leap into a back tuck and bobbled a little bit on the back tuck. She's going to go into her backwards connection pass right now. Back handspring, back layout, step out. It's very solid. Difficult pass, you see any Olympians and elite gymnasts do. Here's her full turn, nice and solid. She can really just look forward to her dismount now. She got all her other elements out of the way. She does a full gainer off of an aerial to the side of the beam, which is a little bit more of an unusual dismount, but a little bit easier to stick the landing, if you ask me, rather than power coming off of a round off. But that was a really solid routine for her. She stayed on. Holly Ryan now for floor with Michigan State. Like I said, she's 4'11", but certainly a powerful tumbler. You can see right here. Round off back handspring, double pike layout. You can see how they smile, they enjoy it, they have fun doing their floor routines. It's a little bit easier to show your personality than, say, the vault on the floor. That was a beautiful layout step out at the end. Makes it so you don't exactly have to stick your landing, but it's still a great element. She's smiling, she's having a good time. Third tumbling pass. Gymnasts do start to get tired around here, but she's going to power through it. Front handspring into a 1.5 twist. Great routine for Holly Ryan. As a senior,
for the Hawkeyes,
you know that she appreciates
Sullivan.
competing. You can see that she has so much fun. Savannah Borman on the beam got a 9.7, which is a really great score. We just saw a few bobbles for her. Charlotte Sullivan is up on the beam now. Again, the freshman out of New Zealand.
She works the nights by the water. She's gone astray, so far away from her father's
Great connection right there between her forward element and her backwards element. Switch leap into a leap jump. She looks really confident up there. And beam confidence is really half the battle. If you're shaky, you're more likely to fall off. I love that skill right there. She can turn and give the judges a little smile because she lands on the beam facing out to the side. Round off into a full. It was a great dismount. Nice landing. It was just a really solid routine. Like I said, she looked very confident up there, which is really how you score those high numbers on beam. You don't want to fall. You want to look good. You want to have fun. Up on the floor now is Drew Hendershot from Michigan State. Still waiting for Holly Ryan's original score. I'm telling you, the team score is very close right now between Iowa and Michigan State. It's 107 even. Iowa's in the lead by just about 4 tenths. Here comes sophomore Drew Hendershot. Holly Ryan got a 9.75, which is a nice solid score from a solid routine. Another double peg layout for her first pass. That was the same as Holly Ryan's. It's a good pass to start off with. For a 1.5 full twisting there and fell she under rotated a little bit. She wasn't able to get her feet underneath her, so that was a fall. That will be 5 tenths of a deduction. I'm sure she's a little disappointed about that, and that also really wipes out your energy, makes you very tired having to get back up that you're not used to, so she's gonna have to find the energy somewhere else. I believe this is her last pass right here. Punch front layout, punch full. It's a great routine by Drew. She definitely tried her hardest. You could definitely tell she was a little fatigued just by that second pass. She wasn't able to get enough power to get her feet underneath her and unfortunately fell. Up for Iowa on the beam is Nikki Yaud. 9.775 for Charlotte Sullivan, which is another great beam score. If they can get all 9.7s on beam, they'll certainly be in great shape. Here's her connection. See, clearly connected, not a wobble at all. Iowa's happy about that. She looks very confident up there again. You know, full turns are definitely underestimated moves for gymnastics. They're not as easy as you would think a full turn would be. There have been Olympians that have fallen off from just a full turn on the beam. People will say back tucks are almost more difficult than full turns. I'm sorry, easier than full turns. Nikki did have a slight wobble there on her split jump. Just her dismount is left. Side gainer, stuck the landing, very exciting. should be another solid routine. Like I said, you just don't want to fall off. You want to be stable up there, not too many bobbles, because those bobbles will add up and take off deductions. So
On the floor for the Spartans,
Savannah Borman had a
Ella Douglas.
9.7, followed by a 9.775. So hopefully they can keep up that consistency. Ella Douglas is up on the floor. I was seeing her in warm-up. She's really powerful, muscular, has the tumbling capabilities. She's a strong, strong tumbler. You can see how high she goes. Double pipe. Gymnasts are allowed to have mats on the floor. Front layout to a front full. That was an impressive move. I've seen people, you know, just not get their feet underneath them for that. So if she can get her feet underneath them, it's almost a stick every time. Floor definitely combines dancey and powerful elements. You can see she's dancing, goes right into a powerful leap pass. It's all about just the flow of making it work, having enough energy to get you through to the end. Oh, she fell on a double tuck. Unfortunately, like I said, a fall is 5/10 of a deduction, so a little bit significant.
On the beam for the Hawkeyes,
Drew Hendershot got an
Claire
8.975 after her 5/10 deduction. So fortunately, Ella Douglas just didn't seem to have enough energy to get her through all the way to the end of that last one. That last pass up. Claire Kaji is up for the Iowa Hawkeyes on beam. Here's Claire's connection pass, backhand spring back layout. She looks really nice and comfortable out there. Solid aerial, no bobbles. There's her full turn, again solid. Like I said, not as easy as it looks. There's some solid beam scores we've seen already, 9.65 being the lowest. Beautiful front gainer as a very interesting dismount, but she seems really happy with that stuck landing. Nice routine, she got her connection, she got her full turn. Hopefully they can keep making routines like this and get a really solid team score together from beam. Up for floor for Michigan State is Kira Fredericks.
On the floor for the
She
Spartans,
is a senior.
Kira Frederick.
Michigan State really doesn't want any more of their athletes to fall. It's just such a significant deduction. But it's difficult to get really tired out doing all those tumbling passes. This floor music is very dramatic, and Kira certainly has the dramatics to add to it. She has great focus, facial expressions, dance moves. It's very powerful. Really interesting pass there with a layout step out to finish it out. Really, like I said, interesting choreography, mighty. Even in the dance elements, you can see her pointed toes and her squeezed muscles. She's a beautiful dancer and flows really nicely. She means business. Front layout, front 1.5. Beautifully done. It was a really nice routine for Michigan State. Kira Frederick.
On beam for the Hawkeyes, Angel Metcalf.
Ella Douglas got a 9.1 even with her 5/10 fall, so that's a great score for her. Angel Metcalf on the beam now. She's an all-around. Oh, I apologize. She's not competing all-around today. She generally is an all-around gymnast. Looks very confident on the beam. Back handspring, back handspring, back layout as her connection pass looked really nice and stable. I don't know if you could see maybe a little bit of bent legs from the side, possibly a deduction, but it was really a beautiful connection pass with really solid dismount. She was so happy she stuck the landing there. Her teammates are excited for her too. That was a great routine from Angel Metcalf. Confident beam athlete. Now up for the floor for Michigan State is Nicola Deans. Claire Kaji's score for beam for Iowa was a 9.85, which is really a great score for her.
On the floor for the Spartans, Nicola Deans.
We just want another powerful routine for Michigan State. Hopefully no falls, just get through the tumbling, landing on your feet. It's another powerful routine. Not too much smiling going on here, but definitely showing you how powerful these young gymnasts are. Beautiful double layout. You can see how stretched her body was through the entire thing. Nearly a stuck landing. It's a very difficult skill. Front step out, round off back handspring, double tuck. A little step forward, but a really great tumbling pass. All their choreography is very fun and powerful. And kind of makes you feel like you really don't want to mess around with Michigan State. Final tumbling pass right here. Round off back handspring, double pike, landed beautifully. This was a great routine. Well, good for her, Nicola Deans. She's a senior.
On
She
beam for the
certainly deserves a
Hawkeyes,
great floor
Molly
routine.
Drenth.
She also is competing all around today, so hopefully that'll add to her all around score. Molly Drenth is on the beam right now, another one of Iowa's all around gymnasts. Angel Metcalf got a 9.8 on beam, which is great for them, certainly going to add to their team score. Here goes Molly Drenth. Showing off her flexibility at the beginning there. Really interesting mount. Oh, fell off on her back handspring back layout there, unfortunately. Fall off the beam is 5/10 of a deduction. It's unfortunately pretty bad, but she got right back on. That's what you have to do. You act like it doesn't happen, finish the routine, still end up with a good score that you can give your teammates. Wolf jump, that's difficult because you have to take your eyes off the beam. You can't see where you're landing, so that makes things a little bit harder. So she had the wolf jump, she had the full turn, stable on those little tricky, difficult moves. Here's her dismount. Round off 1.5, perfectly stuck landing. You know, it's really too bad she fell off the beam. Good for her though, getting back up there, making it, you know, a stuck landing, gonna give her team the best that she can.
Next on floor for the Spartans, Alina Legowski.
Next on floor for Michigan State is Elena Legowski. And all we can ask for Michigan State again is another nice, powerful, tumbling routine. Elena Legowski is a very serious gymnast, very powerful. You can see she has intention in her eyes. She's trying to do a double Arabian there and fell a little bit, and a lot of it on her backside, just under-rotated a little bit. I think she wasn't able to get her feet right entirely underneath her. Hopefully, you know, you can shake it off, find the energy for your next 2 tumbling passes. Beautiful front pass. Again, really nice, powerful choreography. Really fun to watch. This will be your final tumbling pass right here. Front handspring 1.5 into a stag jump. Really beautiful. Very well done. Another solid routine for Michigan State. The last 3 routines we saw,
With an
Kira
exhibition
Frederick,
on beam
Nicola
for the
Deans, and Elena
Hawkeyes,
Legowski,
Sydney
really had
Hogan.
some stable routines. None of them fell, unfortunately. So they did have a lot of fallen athletes. For exhibition for Iowa's Sydney Hogan on the beam right now. Nice skill right there. She kind of just makes it look easy on the balance beam. Very flexible, very focused. Backwards shoulder roll is an interesting element. Switch leap into a stag jump. A little bit of a bobble, but she managed to stay on. I'm sure she got the connection. Now I think just her dismount is an aerial into a full twist, which was really beautiful. Stuck landing. Exciting for her. So we will see where the team scores land after this beam and floor event, and both the teams will switch. Iowa will go to floor, and Michigan State will go to beam. Coming up here in Carver Hawkeye Arena.
The touch period is over. The competition will now begin.
We
On the
are
beam
ready
for
with
the
Michigan
Spartans,
State on the beam.
Holly Ryan.
Holly Ryan starting us out. She was a very powerful tumbler on the floor. Hopefully she can be confident and precise today on the beam. It's difficult to be the athlete starting out the beam. You know, people are always a little nervous for balance beam, and being the first athlete certainly doesn't help that. It's a mentality thing for sure. Full turn, little wobble there, but she had it. Again, full turns are not the easiest skill, even though they look like they might seem pretty simple. The connection is a back handspring into a back layout. Looks very good, no wobbles. Switch jump to a stag jump for her jumping series. half corner turn. Certainly adds an element. You have to land facing a side of the beam. She does a gainer dismount. Solid routine for Holly Ryan.
On the floor for the
Hopefully she'll get her team on the board
Hawkeyes,
with that.
Lainey Snyder.
Up for the Hawkeyes is Lainey Snyder. She was an exhibition gymnast for vault and bars. Now she's first up on the floor. Punch front to a round off back handspring 1.5, which is a huge tumbling pass to start out with, and she nailed it. She's got her teammates cheering her on. It's a very exciting time in Carver. Another great tumbling pass. Even in these side dancing elements, it's important you have your toes pointed, your a little bit of who you are in this college gymnastics world. Her teammates are so excited for her when she gets to do her thing. This is her final tumbling pass. Round off back handspring double pike. A really solid tumbling pass routine for her. She looks very excited about that. Good for Lainey
On
Snyder.
beam for the Spartans.
Really
Tori
high
Hewlett.
energy. Hopefully it'll be a good score for them. Up next on the beam for Michigan State is Tori Hewen. This is the first we're seeing of Tori in this competition. She's only on beam today.
You are the one thing in my way. 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 You are the one thing in my way.
Again, she's looking very confident on the beam. Really solid switch lead pass there. No bobbles, not looking nervous. That's what Michigan State can really hope for this beam series. Little bobble on that back tuck, but she got the connection pass for it. Solid full turn. Now just left with her dismount pass. Oh, sorry. Now left with her dismount pass. A little bit of an unusual dismount, but a great landing. A solid routine, just one or two little bobbles there, but it's really great for Michigan State. Still waiting on scores from Lainey Snyder and Holly Ryan. Up for Iowa on floor is Charlotte Sullivan, the freshman who is competing all around today.
On floor for the Hawkeyes, Charlotte Sullivan.
Beautiful double pike there, explosive, you can see the height. For her second pass, punch front, round off back handspring, 1.5 twist. Again, really beautiful. Her teammates are so excited for her. All you can ask for is solid tumbling and a fun, adrenaline-filled floor routine. She just seems like such a controlled athlete. Beautiful straight legs with pointed toes we've seen on every event today. Nice leaps, full 180 degrees. double tuck for her final pass. And again, so much height on that back tuck. Another beautiful tumbling pass. She can be happy with that routine. I think she absolutely nailed it. We had Lainey Snyder as a 9.8, which is an amazing way to start out the Hawkeyes on floor. 9.725s for both Holly Ryan and Tori Hewen on the beam. Up next is Kira Frederick.
Come on down after the fourth rotation to do the cha-cha slide with the Gym Hawks. On beam for the Spartans, Kira Frederick.
9.725 are really good beam scores for Michigan. If they can really just keep that up, they can rival Iowa's beam scores there. Here goes Kira Frederick on her connection pass. Back handspring, back layout. Solid, just a tiny little bobble at the end, maybe 1/10 of a deduction, but she was connected. Looks good. Interesting dance elements and forward roll type action, but it is required that you at some point touch the beam, lower yourself to the beam. You'll see each gymnast have one of these in their passes. Great leap there, really you can show the extension, the pointed legs. Full twisting punch front for her dismount. A little bit of a step out of there, but a really solid routine. Angel Metcalf is on the floor now. She was just competing in bars, beam, and floor today, so this is the final of her 3 events. She's a really exciting routine. Some interesting dance elements. Round off right into a double layout. I'm sorry, a double pike. You can tell that she's extremely focused, but still having fun. She wants to do well, but wants to have fun while doing it. She is pretty precise here on the floor. Going into her second pass. Front handspring, front layout to 1.5. So high energy, so much interesting choreography. Angel Metcalf really brings the energy for Hawkeye floor. You can see how focused she is going into her third pass. Sometimes they get tired, so this is a 1.5 into a front layout. A really amazing routine. You can tell she's excited with that.
Attention fans,
hopefully got another good score for her team. Charlotte Sullivan got another 9.8, so 2 9.8s on the board for Iowa floor, while there's 2 9.725s on the beam for Michigan State. Up now is Haley Westney. Haley Westney was also on the bars earlier today. This will be her second event competing. A double turn on beam, that certainly gets you some extra points. It's very difficult. She had a little bit of a wobble, but you'll see most other gymnasts will only do a single turn. Back handspring into a back layout, beautiful, not even a wobble. She looks very confident up there. Is going to try to get a nice score for her team. Kira Frederick got a 9.8 on the beam, so we're really seeing some high scores from Michigan State on the beam right now. Tiny little bobble out of her aerial. These do unfortunately add up on beam, but she looks really stable. Nice acrobatic element there. Switch leap into a split jump.
Was the prototype like 3 stacks on that CD?
She has another turning element, which is interesting. Most gymnasts hate the full turn so much they'll only try to keep it to one, but she added another one. A really interesting layout gainer as her dismount. That was a really nice routine for Haley Westney. Hopefully she gets a great score
On the
for her
floor
team.
for the Hawkeyes, Molly Drent.
Molly Drent is on the floor now for the Hawkeyes, our senior Hawkeye girl. She's a reigning all-around champion, so floor is important to get a good all-around score. First tumbling pass, round off back handspring double pike. Really great landing. Almost could have been under-rotated, but she got her feet underneath her. Again, you can just see she's having fun with the choreography, the dancing. She gets to show a little bit of her personality on the floor exercise. Molly Drent is an amazing all-around gymnast. Front handspring into a 1.5. Beautiful height, beautiful landing. Her tumbling looks almost effortless. Going into her third tumbling pass. Round off 1.5 into a front layout. Lots of power required for that, so it's amazing she put it as her third pass. Really has to muster up the energy to get through it, but a solid routine from Molly Drent. That'll be her fourth and final event of the day, and she did really well for herself today, hopefully in an all-around scoring position. Up on the beam now is Ella Douglas. Ella Douglas unfortunately fell on the floor exercise, making her score not what she wanted it to be. So hopefully, you know, she recentered herself before the beam. Another double turn. Slight bobble, but good for her. Switch leap with a 1.5 turn into a split jump for her jumping series. Oh, she fell off on her aerial into a back layout, which is unfortunately her connection series as well. So she did get the connection, but she won't get the credit for the skill, unfortunately. You know, that's got to be tough for her, falling on floor and then falling on beam, but you still have a routine to finish. You got to get up there and finish it out the best way you can. I'm sure she still has her skills coming up, her dismount. Just find a way to recenter yourself. An aerial into a full for her dismount. It looked really good. No, unfortunately, she doesn't seem too happy. She
On
fell off
floor
the beam.
for the Hawkeyes, Melissa
Haley Westney got a
Zurowski.
9.8 for beam, which is a really solid score, but unfortunately, Ella Douglas's final score will have 5/10 off for that fall. Melissa Zurowski is on the floor right now. This is her third event today. She did not compete on beam. First pass, round off into a double pike. Nice landing there. Right into her second tumbling pass. She's a forward pass, and again, looks really solid. Very loud, booming floor music, really easy to get excited and get people moving. Just as a performer would want. She's smiling, looks like she's having fun. She has her teammates into it. Everyone's so excited. It's her last tumbling pass. Front 1.5. Beautiful. Her tumbling passes were absolutely beautiful. She looks really excited with that, Melissa Zurowski. Good for her. A solid floor
On
exercise.
beam for the Spartans, Nicola Deans.
Nicola Deans is on for Michigan State for the beam now. Nicola Dean's had a really solid floor exercise, so hopefully she can keep that momentum going for the beam.
Things that scare me, I should just walk away. But I can't move my feet the more that I know you, the more
Nice leap pass there, really nice extension, pointed toes. Little bobble on her full turn. Like I said, it's not easy.
I didn't know that I was starving till I tasted you. Don't need no butterflies when you give me the wrong damn zoo.
Punch front on the beam, nice solid stick. Not an easy skill. She's gonna have her backwards connection skills now. Back handspring, back layout, step out. Again, a tiny little bobble, but she got the connection. She looked really solid. The senior is looking for another good all-around score today. Dismount, round off, double pike. A little hop on the landing, but a really solid beam. Unfortunately, Ella Douglas got a 9.225
On
with the
floor
5
for the
tenth reduction.
Hawkeyes, Claire Kaji.
We should see what Nicola Deans gets to help out. Claire Kaji will be the last competing gymnast for Iowa Hawkeyes. On the floor. We're just looking for no falls, powerful tumbling, all of which this young girl has. Beautiful first pass. She has the whole team excited. Clearly likes to have fun with this routine. Round off 1.5 into a back handspring full twist. Very, very impressive. Lots of twisting skills, lots of energy required. Good for her. Freshman making a name for herself. Switch lead pass. To her final tumbling pass. Round off back handspring, double tuck. A beautiful landing, a great routine. Iowa Hawkeyes are excited. Brianna Fitzke
With an
will be
exhibition
competing
on beam
exhibition
the
for
Spartans,
Iowa.
Molly Horner O'Malley.
Molly Horner O'Malley will be competing exhibition for Michigan State on the beam. Waiting for a final score from Nicola Deans so that we can get Molly on the beam here. In that time, we can also wait for Claire Kaji's final floor score.
First thing on my mind when I'm waking up is you. Oh yeah. When I'm blue, you spin me around the color wheel, yes you do. Oh yeah. You're something different.
Here we go with Molly Horner O'Malley. Here she goes into her connection pass, backhand spring back layout. Very solid. Might have missed a little bobble at the end there. Switch leap, half split jump for her jumping series into her full turn. Standing back layout to a split jump, that'll count as her connection. She was definitely connected there. Seems a little difficult, but she handled it with ease. The punch, full twisting forward flip for her
With
dismount.
an exhibition on floor for the Hawkeyes.
Good exhibition routine. Her
Bree
teammates
Fitzke.
seem very happy with that. Bree Fitzke on the floor for exhibition. Still waiting for Claire Kaji's final score, as well as Nicola Dean's. Oh, Nicola Dean's comes in with a 9.7. Double pike for her first tumbling pass. Beautiful. Clearly very powerful. What a great forward pass. Those are not always easy. She's made it look very easy. Got some great height. Second tumbling pass. Let's see. They're getting ready for it. Really, again, beautiful height, nice squeeze, tight legs. Hopefully gonna earn a great score for herself with this powerful tumbling and dancing. And that will conclude
And that
the
marks
fourth
the
event for
conclusion
the
of
Iowa
tonight's
Hawkeyes.
competition. The award ceremony will take place
Claire
in just a
Kaji's
few minutes.
score came in with a 9.825, which will make the final team scores. I'm not sure if these are final. I want to say that final team scores are Iowa 195.475 to MSU 193.875. So it's a 2-point lead. Coming up for the Hawkeyes, they will face the Golden Bears, California Berkeley, which are ranked number 13 in the nation. That'll be this Sunday here at Culver Hawkeye Arena at 2 p.m. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Jamie Zangwell. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for joining us.